Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that everybody is doing well and that you are having a lovely day. Today I am going to make some things with book pages. I am participating in a challenge in the Tatty, Treasure, and Friends Facebook group. I'll put a link down in the description. And we are making just different ephemera, basically from one Reader's Digest condensed book. So I have a Reader's Digest condensed book, and every day there will be a different video that you can go and watch, and there will be, each person is taking 16 pages out of this book, and at the end of the entire month you will have over, well, I mean, how many pages are in here? This one has 598 plus, you know, a couple more here and then the front. But I think we just divided the number of days by 500 pages. So it came out to be 16 pages per person. So I'm going to pull my 16 pages out of this book, and we're going to do some things. This one actually has some really nice pictures in it, actually, and some cool things. So I don't know, kind of cool. I don't even know what is this story. Looks like some kind of medieval, The King's Pleasure. Oh, that sounds kind of cool. So our, and I don't know who Ethel Curtis is, but it was the book I bought from the used bookstore. So it is hashtag whole book challenge. So we'll be using that hashtag for this, and you can go in and find it. So I am going to pull my 16 pages out of here, and we are going to get started. So I will be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I have my 16 pages, but they have this kind of gross glue stuff on the edge of them. So I'm just going to put them in my trimmer really quickly and trim them all off. So at least we're starting with some... that happened. We're starting with some kind of clean edges. And I just wanted to, normally I wouldn't really film this part of it because that's a little, you know what I say, watching paint dry kind of thing. But I figured that I needed to tell you what I was doing, because I don't think anybody really wants this goopy glue stuff on their page, that's on their pages that are all gonna flake off anyway. I think I might be able to do all of this. We'll see if I could do all of this. That was a little tight, wasn't it? I don't think I got all of it. I got some of it. So I hope you are all having a beautiful day. It is beautiful here. Fall is definitely in the air. My husband, I'm gonna just pull that off, has some friends over, and they are building a little shed outside. That's fine. And they are going to, so they're doing that outside. So if you hear sawing or hammering or anything like that, it's because of that. See, this stuff is gross, like it's everywhere. All right. So, there might not be 16 different projects because I might use 2 pages for one, but I just wanted to show you some quick things that you can do. So the first one I'm going to do is actually, we're going to make kind of this, flip tag. So I'm just going to fold it like this, and then this will be our little flap that we'll use to be the flip. I have my bone folder over here. My little bone folder. And then I am just going to use, I also have a little card in here that I use for corners. So I am just going to put this up here. So it's just an old, this was an old insurance card. And I just, you don't have to do this if you're not on camera, but because I'm on camera, I just took my name and stuff off, and then I put a piece of tape over the top so it doesn't rub off. So it's just me and my own weirdness, maybe. So I am just going to snip those corners off. Now, if you don't, I mean, this is the simplest way I know how to do this. You know, some people just snip one off, take it, flip it over, and put it on the other side and cut it, use it as a guide. But this was just simple for me. So now with this, you can either use it as an open like this, right? And it'll be on a page and it will flip. So it'll just be an open, you can have an open, or you could glue it and make it a pocket. This way, you can certainly, when we embellish it, you can certainly make all of this, you know, put a pocket on here, put a pocket on here, put pockets in here, or tucks, or whatever you want. And then also when you glue this on a page, so if this was our page we were going to glue it onto, you can glue it underneath, so it's not going to show on this side, but on this side you could have it as a tuck here, or you could put it on the top, and when it opened this way there would be a tuck there as well, or you can just glue the whole thing down. It doesn't really matter. So that is my first little idea, and I'm going to trim this little bottom off because it did not trim up very well. So that's the first one. So here's the thing about this too. We are not going to embellish these. These are all just going to be just plain things you can put in a box and just have ready for you. You can sort them by tags. I know I'm going to make a couple pockets and an envelope, and there might be some duplicates, just so you know, there might be some duplicates. So don't feel stressed. Just keep making them, because when you're all done, you'll have a whole box of different things that you can just pull out and decorate and use in your journals like super quickly. So with this one, I am just going to make a quick little pocket, or little envelope. So I'm going to push this kind of up, maybe there. So there's maybe, just in case you need a measurement, it's maybe 1.25 inches, maybe 1 3/8 inches, give or take. So I'm going to do that. Now, I've got this kind of wonky edge again. I'm just going to trim off. There we go. Now, this again, I don't really want, I mean, you could totally fold this down and it would be totally fine. But again, I want to make it kind of look a little more. So I'm just going to snip the edges, and I'm going to use a bigger cut. I will show you on this. So maybe if I lay it down in the black, you'll see. So there's different kind of angles. So they kind of go small, a little bit bigger, and really big. So I'm going to use the biggest one on here, or the, I don't know what you would call that, biggest. And again, I apologize for pulling it off camera, but I need to be able to see, and I am still waiting for my glasses. They are ordered, but they are not here yet. I think probably a couple more weeks, they said. So I'm super excited to get them. So now when we fold this down, it has a little more of a decorative kind of edge. And also, I am not going to get super, and I'm not like this, just for your own information. I am not going to get super all caught up in that everything has to be super even and super, because I mean, there's sometimes you want things super even so they fold nicely and that kind of thing. But I also don't want this to be right up against this edge, because then they don't fold really nicely. You end up sometimes bending the edge of this paper. And what I will probably do when I put this together is actually put a little tiny thumb hole or something there so it's easier to pull out. And I am also not so caught up in that the words are upside down, because I'm probably going to cover this with paper anyway, so I'm not that kind of caught up in that. It doesn't really matter, and it doesn't really matter no matter which way I did it. It's still, I mean, unless I went this way from top and then bottom, I guess I should have done it that way, but I'm not going to get caught up in that. It doesn't stress me out. If it stresses you out, then I'm sorry. So the next one I'm going to do is kind of an idea for a belly band. So, if we fold this over and then we fold this one over this way, and this is one of those where you do kind of want it to line up nicely with the top and the bottom. You don't want it to be, I mean, it doesn't need to perfectly meet. If you see, you can kind of see where the fold is right there. It's not butting right up against that one, but I'm okay with that. And then what you can do is you can just use this just solely as a belly band. Just doesn't really, you know, solely like this. It could go this way. It can go this way. It doesn't really matter. But you could also flip it over and use it this way. And then if you had some little tickets or tags or something, you could use this side as a tuck spot. So what I would do is glue this whole piece down. Glue this whole piece down here. And then in here, I would glue like here and here and here and here and here. And so you'd have multiple little sections depending on how wide of whatever you're putting in. If you're just putting in little tickets, like I have these little Tim Holtz, let me grab them. I have these little Tim Holtz this little ticket book. So if I were using one of these, you know, some of these, and lots of kits obviously come with these little types of tickets, then I don't really need that pocket to be super huge. So I would kind of glue it underneath. I would glue it there and there just so that little ticket stuck in there. And then you could have multiple of them down the side. If you were using something bigger, I don't know if I'd use something much bigger than this, you know, that was much bigger. I mean, that's okay, but I wouldn't do something that was way out here, I think, you know, something a little bigger ticket. There are actually lots of videos going around right now. Seven Plaza has some great videos on where she makes her own tickets, and they're super cool, and I love them, and I've been making some. And then you can make them any size you want, and they're super decorative, and they match your paper that you're using, and you know, it's kind of fun. Those, you know, you could make just a little bit longer so they would pull out, and you could have multiple of them in here. So that's one idea for this. The other idea obviously is just use it like this and decorate. I usually decorate the center. If it was going this way, then you could leave it like this and just leave it as a pocket. If it was going across your page, and if you know, trimmed it, which I'm not going to trim any of these because I don't know how big I'm going to be. But if I were going to trim it and put it on a page, it might only be that wide. But then I would have a little tuck here that I could put stuff in. Or you could literally put it this way and have it only go, you know, maybe some things go only here. And then some things, if you had like a bigger tag or something, it would go all the way through. So, you know, options, right? It's all about options. So we have 3. Now, the next thing I'm going to make is just kind of a simple little pocket. So if you take this, and I like those kind of ones that you kind of fold together. So if we fold it up like this, so maybe about, maybe not quite to the, maybe to like the halfway point of the page. Again, don't get too caught up in it. And then if you fold it around this way, and so if we fold it in thirds, so we have this one, and then we want this one to come just slightly past. This can actually tuck inside of there. Okay, bone. Crease those edges good. So now you kind of have this interesting little pocket that's got, which you could glue down, obviously, or you could glue it down this way. And the great thing is, so you have a pocket here, you have a pocket up here. I can get that look hard in there. So you have a pocket up here. So if you glued it down, you would just have this, you would have this, and I would glue it all the way down because of this. Now, if I were, and I would also glue this edge to here and this edge, you know, this, I would glue this piece into here so it wouldn't flop out. But I actually kind of like this multi kind of thing. You could pull these down. Like this, and glue up that, just that piece inside there. So you would have some little tuck spots here. You would have a bigger, so you'd have this big pocket here, and then you would have this pocket here. So I kind of like that little fold like that looks like that, especially if you had kind of a really pretty, beautiful tag that you didn't want to hide in a whole pocket and you wanted to kind of show that tag off a little more, or that journaling card or something. You could, if you fold it down like this, it'll hold it in, and it'll be, and then this could actually just be clipped onto a page. You know, it would be, so you could still have this side, or you could just glue the whole thing down. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. Again, we like our options, right? Let's see, what was the other thing I was going to do? So kind of along that same line as that. So if we fold this again up into the halfway point of the page, give or take. And then if we fold this over, and I'm actually going to fold it this way because I like that this has kind of a bigger border at the top, so I can kind of use that as my guide. So I'm going to fold it this way to start with, just to kind of get my idea where I need to fold it. And then I'm going to fold it back. So I mean, if you need to measure it, it's just my bold folder to get that crease down there. What is this? Probably half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch right there. You could obviously go further over, and then this we can fold back, and again, you can use this as a flip out. You know, just glue this edge right here, so you'd have a pocket here and you have a pocket here, and then you could use this as a flip out. So it would flip this way, you know, or if you put it on the page, it would flip out this way. You can also open this up, and you could have, if you covered this with like coffee dyed paper or something, you would have some writing inside. So kind of some hidden writing. You could, you know, clip it closed or whatever, but you could also just glue this shut right along this edge. So you'd have a pocket, and you'd have a pocket, and you'd have a pocket, and you'd have this, and you could use this as a tuck on this side or on this side. So it really just depends on how you want to do it. I mean, it doesn't even have to go on the edge. It could go right there. It could go, you could fold it back this way. and it could fold this way out. So there's lots of options depending on which way you fold it, which direction you want it to go. Okay, so we have a couple of pockets. We have a couple of pockets, an envelope, belly band, a tag. Let's see. So you can make another kind of pocket where you're going to kind of bring this up like this. So you've got these kind of points up here. And then you're going to fold this over so it's flat. This edge lines up with this edge. And you want to kind of keep that, don't fold up to that point, if that makes sense. And then this one comes over. Again, we don't want to fold up to that point. Okay. And then these kind of tuck in. They might not tuck in because they kind of line up. So you can just kind of glue that one edge to that right there. And then you just have this kind of really interesting pocket. If you didn't want to glue it, the other thing that would be actually kind of cool is if you put a brad right through there, just to hold that closed right there. And then if you just put a little piece of like masking tape like that on the back so the brad doesn't catch on anything you put into the pocket, you would have this cool, interesting pocket that goes this way because you'd have a brad there, or you'd have a little tuck spot there, or, you know, you could have both, I suppose. And then you have a pocket here and you have a pocket back here. So you can layer them up so you have different size tags. You could put a much longer tag here, and then a shorter tag here, and then a tag that kind of sticks out this way or something. So just kind of an interesting way. So let me do this again so you can see. So you're gonna, when you fold this up, you're folding this edge past this corner. This corner is gonna go past this corner. So we're gonna do another one like that, but this one goes past. So you kind of have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. Okay. And then you're going to fold this edge. So this, the lines meet at the bottom. Those edges meet. You don't want to come all the way in past the point of this. So kind of stay out on this side. And then this one, you're just going to kind of bring over and match them up there. And then again, if you put that little brad, if you put a little brad right there, you could also put an eyelet in there. If you wanted, an eyelet would be kind of cool right there too. The only thing is, the other thing is, because this is open in the bottom, you may want to just glue that edge right there closed. So whatever you put in does not fall out the bottom. So just glue that one edge right there, but you'd literally have then 1, 2, 3. You could have a 4th pocket behind, depending on how you glue this onto your page. All right, so the other one's very similar to that. Instead of going past it this way, we're going to go this way. So we're literally going to just make like a mountain. So you've got 2 points. And this one, you kind of want to make sure that you're kind of lined up evenly. So I'm going to put this on that line right there. So when I know when I bring this one up, and then this should be kind of even, and you can see really that it is not. So you kind of want these two, the 2 points to line up, but you also want this to be even, which is great for book pages, because it's great to do this with book pages, because book pages have words on them that are fairly lined up. Fairly, I'm going to say fairly. So if we kind of pull this, so these 2 kind of points kind of match, and this line is kind of straight. Okay, now this is a pocket I think a lot of people have seen. So again, you're going to bring this across, and you're going to bring this one across, and this is another one where we're going to tuck in. We're going to tuck this one in there. So this one's kind of a cool one. And this is really cool if you have big book pages, if you have really, really big book pages. This one is a cool pocket because it's got so many different places. I mean, you've got this little tuck spot. You've got one there. You've got one there. You've got one there. You've got one in the back, depending on how you glue it onto your page. So this one's kind of a fun one that's got lots of different spots in it. So there's 5 different spots there that will hold lots of things. All right, so that we're gonna make another envelope now, and this one I'm actually gonna not do the picture. I'll put the picture on the inside. So for this envelope, we're gonna go up about 3/4 of the way. So the top meets about 3/4. So the flap's probably a little bit longer. Got this straggly piece on the edge there. And then when we push this one down, again, I don't want it to butt up right against that top of our up fold. I don't want it to do that. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do this one the other way because that way our words will be right. Our words will be our words will not be upside down. So we're going to go here. And then we're going to go here. Okay, so we have our envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my glue bottle and I'm just going to line it up so the 2 edges of the bottle are along the 2 edges of the flap there, and you want them to kind of match. Now, obviously, if you have a corner rounder, you can do this, but I want a bigger, my corner rounder is not quite that big. So I'm going to just kind of draw on here. And then I'm just going to use my scissors and cut the corners off. And I'm going to pull this up so I can see it. So I'm sorry again that I'm taking you off of camera. And I'm just really using the lines as a guide. I mean, obviously, that's not, I mean, if I show you this, you can still see the pencil line there. So I'm just really using it more as a guide to decide where I want to cut and not necessarily follow the lines. It just helps me, you know, not, you know, make them so wonky that I'm pretty good at following a line, to be honest with you. So now we have this pocket that has more of a rounded corners than these kinds of corners. So I just wanted to show you can use what you have if you don't have a corner rounder or you don't have a bigger corner rounder. The other thing you could do, obviously, is again, same thing with something like this, is if you want bigger corners, just use something, trace it with a Sharpie, and then just cut it off, and then you have rounded corners that you can just hold on and cut around. So that's another option if you don't have a corner rounder. Plus, I will tell you, corner rounders and book pages are not really good friends because book pages are usually a lot thinner than, you know, like a cardstock where you're rounding corners on a, you know, something. So that's kind of a pain. So now with this, I mean, obviously you can do a lot of things with this. I mean, all of these envelopes, right? So you can glue it on your page. So you have the flap like this. You can glue it all flat down. You can glue just the 3. So you have a pocket behind. So you would have a pocket behind it. You can just clip it in. So there's lots of things you can do. I mean, you can put it sideways if you wanted to. You could use this as a flap if you just wanted to use it as a pocket. So you could just use the flap as, you know, to make this a flip, and then you'd have a flip with a pocket. Or you could do it this way too. If you glued these 2 sides, you would have your pocket this way. So again, lots of options. The next one we're going to do actually might take 3 pages. So I'm going to kind of make this stacked pocket. So if we fold this one, maybe we should do it from the bottom so our words are the right way again. Not that it matters. I don't really know if I want the words to show that say the king's pleasure. I don't really know. I don't know if that's something I want. Now you can see I cut this page when I put this page in my trimmer, and I trimmed all those at the same time. They got all a little wonky wonk. So I'm just going to trim that edge off. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. So we're going to trim, we're going to create this one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to glue them together. And we're going to leave a little bit of a gap. So I want to see how tall this is, because you don't want it to go so tall. So this is almost, this is like a little more than 7 3/4. So I don't think I really want this to go any further. I don't want another one at the top. But you can certainly, when you glue this together, which I'm just going to glue it together right now. My glue has gunk on the end of it. So I'm going to glue these. Together. I'm going to glue these together. So just put some glue along this edge, and then we're just going to glue this one onto here and have a little bit of a gap. Well, I'm not going to glue it yet because if I were to do this, I would want to cover this piece back here. The other thing you could do is you could glue them right on top of each other. Just make finger pulls, thumb pulls, whatever they call those, little notches there. So you have, I mean, if you were to glue them right on top of each other, which you could totally do, just glue them right on top of each other like that. Just make those little notches there and there. And then you could put another pocket at the top if you wanted to. You could use another pocket at the top. And then depending on how, so then you would just glue that onto there. So they would all be glued together. And then you have the great option of pocket, pocket, and then big pocket in the back. Just make sure that you're gluing these pieces down to this. And you might even want to, depending on how well you're doing this, is you might even want to just put a piece of tape over that, washi tape or masking tape or whatever, just to hold that piece down really smooth against the back. So when you're sliding something, if you're sliding something all the way down in here, you're not getting it caught on this page. Because I've had that happen before. The other thing too, obviously, is you can totally sew these. I would probably just sew up this side across, sew down, and across the bottom. And you could sew across this bottom, and if you put another one, you could sew across this bottom. Just don't obviously want to sew your pockets closed. Don't talk to me about that, because I've kind of done things like that in my life before. So that one uses 2, but I could have cut this one and made a 3rd, and I might do that at some point if I decide to use this in a book, is just make another pocket at the top here. Again, just remember it would be just a little pocket, and you don't want stuff to stick out too far past it, because if your book's only, like, let's say 8 inches tall, you don't want too much stuff sticking way out the top of your book. Some people might like that. I don't actually like that for paper stuff, because it tends to get all bent and warped and wonky. So let's see, how many do we have left? We have 5 left. So let's make another tag. So I am going to do the same kind of thing I did here, but I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to fold it right in half. So we'll make a long kind of skinny tag. Now, obviously super easy, right? And not kind of, you know, kind of brainless, but, and if we just use our little card, where did I put that? Right there. And just cut our little notches, our little, slants, I guess notch. I don't know what they're called. The little tag pieces off. Okay, so we just have a long tag. Now, what we could do is, you know, what I would do is just glue this together so it's sturdier, you know, solid. But you could, if you were doing, if you just wanted one plain tag. But what would even be better is covering the inside of this with coffee dyed paper. And then it would be, you could open it up and journal inside, and then you would have this really long tag. And that would actually be really cool behind something like this if we had this pocket. And I think I would do this way because this pocket's bigger. Is you would have this really tall tag that could go all the way down into there, right? And then when you pulled it out, it would open up and you could journal inside of it, and it would be decorated on both sides. All right. The great thing about using book pages, I think, is that it's really versatile. I mean, everything is really versatile on how you want to use it. That is 2 pages. I mean, I was like, that feels like 2 pages. So it's really versatile how you use it. So it's not so, it's not so, there's lots of options, I guess. Again, I keep saying that, but there's so many options that you can do with this. If we want to just make a super simple envelope, just super simple, you know, just that and that. There you go. Super simple, like kind of brainless, right? Now, but again, there's tons of options with this because I did not fold that very straight. There's a ton of options with this. Again, this is something that you could just do like this. You could glue the sides down and actually use it as a pocket, as an envelope, put something in it. You could just clip it closed. And then it would flip open, and if you had paper inside, it could be a writing spot. So you could do that. You can use it, glue just the bottom and this side and use it as a pocket up here. And, you know, you would have this, and this could be a tuck. So if you just glued this and this and this and this inside here, then you could have a pocket here. You could have a pocket behind you, depending on how you glued it on your page. And you'd have this tuck spot here. You could use this as a flat, you know, to make this a flip that would flip out. So again, tons of options, tons of things you can do with this. And, you know, the cool thing about this whole challenge is the great thing about this is I bought this book, this Reader's Digest condensed book. I bought it at my used bookstore for $1. I have like 7 of them, and they had a ton of them. I mean, I could have literally got all of them if I wanted to, because she had like 40 of them, you know. My husband would have killed me if I came home with 40 bucks. So, but this, you know, using these book pages, it's super simple and super easy. And you could paint these, you could stain them, you can dye them, you can cover them with fabric, you can cover them with scraps of paper. You can do all kinds of things. I mean, the options are kind of limitless on what you could do with these, which I think is such a great thing because, and this challenge is what I love because I'm literally at the end of this challenge going to have a shoebox full of all of these different things that I can be able to just pull out and use whenever I want. I mean, even like this, this tag too, you could fold this tag up even like this if you didn't want a long one and make it a shorter that has a pocket in it. Let's do this one actually. Maybe not. This one I'm gonna make into another envelope because the picture, and actually I kind of like that O on there. I would just cover up that weird King's Pleasure thing. I don't know. Maybe I've read too many romance novels in my day. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just made myself laugh too much. Again, this one, again, you can do anything with these. I mean, we could literally fold these. Again, if you didn't have any way to make your corner things like this, you could just fold them. Fold this down. Let's fold them after. That probably would have been a better idea, Dana. I'm going to fold this up a little bit higher because I like that O actually. So if I wanted to just fold these up, I could fold these up and I could cut them off if I wanted to. You could just rip them. You could fold them. You know, I could fold these and tear them. I could fold them under if I wanted to, rather than out, and just glue them on the inside. So again, the corner of the way you do your envelope fold top part is really kind of, you know, you can do pretty much anything to it. You know, you could just even, just to give it a better, interesting look, is just kind of rip along this edge right here. And that would be kind of a really cool little look right there, is just to rip the edge of that envelope. This one I didn't fold quite down as far. So this one has a bigger gap between here. And I did that just so I could see the O, because I like that. Like I might do something on here and just keep the O, because I think that's kind of cool. I might have to look through some of these books and see if they have cool pictures in them. Let's see, I have 3 more. So let's make another kind of belly band thing. So if we fold this one, again, oh, there's another letter. That's a cool letter too. Geez, these letters are cool. I like these. Fold this and then fold this. So this one's pretty much folded in thirds. You know, not well, I should say. It's not folded well in thirds, but it's folded in thirds. Okay. So, I mean, just super simple belly band, right? I mean, not hard to make at all. And again, this is kind of cool to leave this C and cover the rest of this would be kind of cool. But you can also use this also as kind of a flip out. So if you glued this to your page, and let's just pretend this cool C is in here. We are going to glue this down to our page here and here and glue it down. So it would be a belly band, but you could also leave this so it could flip out, and you could also write on it and fold it back up. The other thing too is, I think one of the things about junk journaling that is kind of cool to me is there's so many uses for it for a journal, right? Not just writing journaling, which obviously is cool. But part of what we do, right, is reuse things that are old, whatever. And I know many of us love to collage, but how cool would that be to have just this kind of pretty basic thing with maybe just a decorative piece in the middle here, right? But then when you opened it up, it had a whole thing in here. And obviously it would be a little harder to fold if you were going super thick with stuff. But if you were more of an art journaler and you were more of a painter or some things like that, you could totally do something like that. You could do something in here where you put in, maybe just a square of paper that you could write a quote or something on, and then decorate around it with washi tape and stickers or collage or whatever, and then fold it back up. Again, the thing that you want to kind of remember, and I folded this super close because of this, but if you were doing something like that, I would leave a bigger gap between the edge of this paper and where your fold is. Fold it over a little bit more, more like that. So it wasn't all the way to the edge. So you had a little bit of a gap, because that helps the stuff, whatever you put in the side would have room. You'd have room for it, if that makes sense. So just a super simple belly band, but another idea for it, right? I mean, you could also put this along the edge of a page. If you took like one of those like ribbon ruffle things that people make, or even a paper ruffle that people, that make. I mean, I make them a lot too. And you just sewed or glued that onto here. Yeah. And then let's say this was your page. You could stick this onto your page like this if you sewed it straight down here. So you still have these two flaps. Then if you fold this flap in and you fold this flap, you could put this on the edge of your paper like this, and you could flip it out if you glued it on that way. Or if you glued this piece on here, you could flip it out this way. If that piece was glued out, it would flip out that way. Or you could glue here and here and here and here and put it on and glue all of this down, glue this piece to this piece. I'm probably not in camera right now, but glue this piece to this piece, and then put glue here, 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 and here, and glue it onto the edge of your paper this way. And then if you have that, some kind of decorative thing here, you'd have tuck here and you'd have tuck here. Okay. So just some other options for something like this. Another way to use a book page. The last one, I think we'll use these 2 pages, and I am going to make a couple of different things. So if we do this kind of flip up like this, where we have a pocket here, just a basic pocket, right? And I do sometimes like to keep a little top piece just to kind of differentiate between here and here, because most of the time I will use a glue it on that way, right? So you kind of have this step effect. But I also like to layer things on my page. So if you have something like this, and then if you make another one that goes this way, you can literally put them on and kind of layer them over the top of each other a little bit. So if you were to put it on maybe like this, if you were to put it on your page like this. Okay, so the tricky part to this is this. So you're going to glue these 2 sides down. You're going to glue this side down to your paper. Let's get your paper here. Let's get our page here. So we're going to glue it like this. And if this sticks off, I'm kind of okay with that sometimes, depending on the book. Could probably stick off that much and not get too crushed. I mean, obviously you could also trim this down a little bit so it's in. Now, when you glue this side though, you're gonna glue this to this. So you are gonna lose some of this pocket here. It's only gonna be this part of it. And then when you glue this down, you're only gonna glue this side and across the bottom here onto this page. And here you're gonna glue here and here. So you would have your pocket here, you'd have your pocket here, you'd have your pocket here, and you would have a pocket back here. Okay, so you're gonna you have multiple pockets and you have this kind of cool layered effect. You could also do it, we did it this way, and we did it this way. So I just flipped this, so I have this. So now I have this, and this I can actually pull into my pocket now. So now you're really only glued here, and you glue your flap down, so you have this flap that you open like this, and you have this pocket that's glued down. You could also make this one flip open, you know. So lots of options on how to do this and how to decorate these. And I'll be using a lot of these things in future projects where I use them and decorate them. So you'll get to see some of that. But, you know, just taking simple things like this and layering them actually make it very cool. So I hope that you enjoyed this. There will be videos every day using this hashtag whole book challenge. I hope that you come and enjoy and make along with us. I will be back later this month. I believe it's the 23rd of October, and I will have some more projects for you for book pages. I'm going to try at that point to find some things that are very different, that maybe other people have also done, and see if I can come up with something super interesting and creative. So we'll see, because there are some super creative people out there that are in this challenge, and I know they're going to come up with some great things, some very basic things, but some super great things too. But what I love about this is even if they're super basic, you have them now. You have them, they're ready to go. You can pull them out and use them at any time, decorate them up, and they'll be perfect and beautiful. So check out our challenge, whole book challenge, and I thank you, and I will see you all in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.